Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our executive producer, Ethan Euchre.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And to my side, we have our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
Good day.
And across from me, we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute, in his suit, no less.
Looking sharp, might I add.
Yes.
One time in a year.
One time a year.
Well, thank you for sharing your time with us. We have so much to talk about on the show. Every week, we introduce you to patients that have undergone the Bonati spine procedures. And what really sets the Bonati spine procedures apart from anything else on the market is the fact that there is true patient resolve. It's not just the fact that, hey, we performed another surgery. It has meant that we have put people back in motion. And that's what it's all about here at the Bonati Spine Institute. We have over a 94% success. A recent 7.5-year study reflects 98.75% patient-reported satisfaction. That is unbelievable and absolutely fantastic. And that's something you don't get anywhere else. And that is exactly why Bonati succeeds where others fail.
It's about as close to perfection as you can get, we like to say.
And with that said, we have a very busy show. We have Debbie Elnauten, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but it's the developer of the UPSI. It's a miracle harness that lets parents help their disabled children stand, walk, even kick for the first time in their lives. And it's now available all over the world.
Yeah, and this is actually something that I think has been around for a year or two, but it just went viral recently on the internet.
I think it's fantastic.
Of pictures of it, and it's pretty cool stuff. So if you might have, a child with disabilities, has trouble walking and things like that, you'll definitely want to check out Debbie.
Seeing some of the news coverage of that kind of phenomenon, it's giving children lives and smiles and the ability to communicate with the rest of the family that they just didn't have before.
And
so it'd be pretty cool to talk to.
And the fact that it's a mother that invented it is just awesome to me.
Yes.
Should be good.
And then we have Dr. Pat Ricaldi, and she's a Tampa-based craniomaxillofacial surgeon, and she's going to be, I believe, here in studio, correct?
Indeed, yes.
All right.
She will be here.
Discussing her important work with deformed children and helping them live happier lives. And then we'll hear what's new in American medicine today, but up first.
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
Well, I would like to welcome to the program Dr. Mark Cruz. He is a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute. So thank you for being here with us. You're calling in from Iowa.
Correct. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon to you. Well, why don't you tell us, how you found your way to the Bonati Spine Institute? How long were you suffering in pain, and what kind of pain that it was? How it was affecting...
many years ago, I had an injury,
okay,
and I tried to control it with conservative care, and it came to a conclusion where my conservative treatment has come to an end, and I needed more radical care, and I was recommended neck surgery, the old-fashioned way, and I started investigating different procedures, and friends and family members suggested the Bonati Institute. So I went to Dr. Bonati. He took care of my neck, took care of my arm pain and numbness and tingling. I was going to quit practicing myself, but I got my life back. And in the last 6 years, I've referred 50-some patients to him, and everybody's been very pleased and satisfied.
Okay, let me ask you something, though. You just said right there that you contemplated leaving your practice. What is it that you do?
I'm a chiropractic physician, and
Okay.
I do spinal manipulation. And it was such a vigorous profession that with the neck and arm pain that I had, I couldn't perform very well.
Let me ask you something about that neck and arm pain. Was it something that was localized? Was it a shooting pain? Can you kind of describe that to the listeners in case they're dealing with the same sort of pain?
Well, it was severe neck pain that I required pain medication. And then when it would have bad days, it would go all the way down the arm to the hand. It would create knife-type pain and also numbness and tingling.
Ooh.
I can't imagine being a chiropractor seeing, what do you see, 3, 4, 5 patients an hour?
Oh no, my schedule was 8 or 9 an hour.
Oh,
And it's in being a chiropractor, someone who has seen a chiropractor, it's a very physical, demanding profession. It must have been very taxing on you to do your job every day and have that kind of pain.
Saying something different, Mark. This is Al Bonatti. How are you?
Good. Al.
Look, I understand why you have a wing in the clinic with your name. You send more than 50 patients to us.
Well, you've done a great job, and you've helped me a lot.
Thanks.
why don't we kind of slow down what you spoke about, because we kind of rushed through everything. But as far as the actual surgery and the atmosphere when you walked into the Institute, can you kind of explain that, what it was like getting your evaluation, and then did you interact with the doctor during surgery, that sort of thing? Why don't you kind of explain that?
Well, on the first day, I met with Dr. Bonatti, and he examined me, and he explained what my symptoms would be based off of my MRI results, and he was accurate and right on. And then we did the pre-op examination procedures, and in a couple days, I had my first procedure, because I ended up having to have 3 different levels done. It was extensive injury, and I've been doing much better ever since. He started at the bottom of my neck, and every time he did a segment and helped me with my herniated disc, if the symptoms continued, then he would go to the next level. And as soon as the symptoms discontinued, then he said, "We're done for now. Let's stop now."
And Dr. Cruz, you've actually had 2 procedures done, separated, I believe, by 6 years. Excuse me. And the second one was because of a skiing accident, correct? And that was this year, right?
That's correct. In March of this year, I had an accident skiing, and all my symptoms were on my left side. And I did not hesitate at all. I came right back to the Bonatti Institute, and he did the foraminotomy and discectomy on the left side. It helped my left arm.
Now, explain the procedure for those that might be suffering in pain themselves, that might be a little hesitant about how an actual procedure works. It's called conscious IV sedation. You're awake and mostly aware for the most part, but relatively pain-free. You feel a little pressure and things like that. You're also allowed to watch. Now, they were working on your neck. How were you able to look at a screen when he's working on your neck like that? How did that work?
I was laying on my stomach, and the headpiece had a hole in it, and he had a TV screen on the floor. And as he is looking through his scope and his screen on the wall, I could see the same thing. And when they woke me up and he wanted that interaction, as he touched tissue that caused neck pain, I was instructed to say neck pain. If he touched tissue that caused arm pain, I was instructed to say arm pain. And that would help him to determine exactly what was the right thing to do.
And so unless he was touching areas that caused pain, you weren't really feeling any pain, right?
That's correct. No, I was not.
Okay. And see, that's the important part of the Bonatti spine procedure, is that interaction between the patient and the surgeon to able to pinpoint exactly where you're feeling pain.
Were you happy that you were awake versus being put under general anesthesia?
With my anatomy education, I was able to actually see my own spinal cord and nerve root, and I would assume that most people have not done that.
Right.
No.
And that was very educational to me, and it didn't bother me at all.
See, I've always been on the fence about that too. I know me, because I love anatomy. I'd be interested in watching that too, but I could imagine a lot of people probably wouldn't. So how quickly after the second procedure, which was actually just a few months ago, I think it took place in June, did you feel immediate relief from your pain?
Immediately. I after he was finished with the surgery, I'd go to the post-op room, and within 20 minutes, I'm walking out the door having lunch at a restaurant with my wife.
I would say, did you believe that would happen? But you had already experienced something like that similar 6 years previous, so obviously you did. What did your wife think?
She thought it was phenomenal.
I bet. And you mentioned, Dr. Cruz, that you, as a chiropractor up in Iowa, you have personally referred over 50 patients to come down here. A lot of them are patients of your own to come down here. And how many of those got back to you with positive results with their experience with the Bonatti Spine Institute?
all of them. I have not experienced a patient that has been unhappy with any of their results. And I shared my experience with my colleagues in Iowa, and then those colleagues then send me patients that need radical care, and then I'm able to help them get it scheduled and explain to them what they can expect, because you got to take the fear away.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
There's a lot less to worry about with these procedures than there is with the typical open spine surgery.
That's for
Correct.
sure. Now, Dr. Cruz, before we let you go, we have Dr. Bonati here. He's the one who actually did both procedures on you. Anything you'd like to say to him before we let you go?
Dr. Bonati, thank you, and hope you're having a great day. And when I travel to Florida, I'll stop in to see you.
Great. And thank you for helping us.
You bet. Thank you for helping me.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you when you come around.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz, and continued good health. Thank you very much for sending people our way as well. We truly appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Good stuff right there.
You know, there you have it. Doctor himself knew he had to come in. 2 surgeries, 6 years apart, doing fantastic. Referred over 50 patients, and each and every single one of them resolved. And very happy.
And what's interesting to me
Yes.
is this is a guy, I mean, he's a chiropractor. He's not a surgeon by any stretch, but,
Right.
he works with people, works on their backs and things like that. And he's referring his own patients when he gets to the point where he's like, there's nothing more I can do. You
Right.
need surgery.
His very
Yes.
unique perspective about that back pain, and he just knows there's nothing more I can do to help these folks.
Yes.
Dr. Bonati's the savior.
Good stuff.
Well, you heard it here. You're listening to American Medicine Today. If you or someone you know suffering in pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, we have the developer of the UpSee. We'll tell you more next. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Brumell, and welcome to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. If you were only privy to what happens between the breaks, you'd understand why we're all laughing hysterically. But anyway, quick recap.
Welcome to the Bonati Comedy Hour.
We have Ethan Euchre, our executive producer.
Yes.
We have our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
Howdy, howdy.
And that man over yonder is world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. And on this segment, we have Debbie.
Your mic, Doc.
We have Debbie Elnatan, and she is an Israeli mother who invented a life-changing thing called the UPSI to help disabled kids. And she's going to tell us all about it. And she's actually here in Texas, and she's on the line with us. So welcome to the show, Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie Elnatan.
Elnatan.
Okay.
And I'm here to tell you about it. Sure.
This is amazing because it helps these children with cerebral palsy.
What I really like about it, and it's a personal story, Debbie, is that you as a mother saw an issue with your own child and decided to do something about it. So let us know how that happened.
Tell us your story.
Well, let's see. I think I have two parents who are problem solvers and persistent, and a dad who worked with his hands. And he taught me to sew and to use tools. And he would give me tools for my birthday. He gave me a ratchet set to fix my car one year, an electrical ohm meter to fix my electronic devices.
That's great.
There was just no stopping. I mean, you just fix it. Nothing, everything had to be worked out. And I got tools to do it. So I think it made a difference when you have tools in your hands.
Yes.
Sure.
And you're also encouraged to think on your own and observe, you're in a different situation. You don't feel as helpless. When you gave birth to a son and you find out at 8 months he has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
At first, I lost my motherly intuition and only believed that all of the experts knew better than me. And this is something that happens probably to most parents. They lose their confidence, and they're afraid sometimes to know if they don't know how to take care of their child. And I did what I was told. I was a good kid, and I was told not to facilitate his movement, that I was going to raise his spasticity, the uncontrolled muscle movements going on, not to crawl him, not to walk him.
Okay. So wait a minute, Debbie. So you were told by medical professionals that you should. So what? Your son was relegated to a wheelchair?
No, he was 1 year old, 2 year old, wasn't rolling over, wasn't sitting up, wasn't doing anything. I was told, let's be a little more specific. At the time, the status quo of the physical therapy was Bobath, and they believed that if the child acted using their spasticity, using their uncontrollable muscle activity, that it would make it worse. It's now known that that is not true.
But that was the conventional wisdom at the time.
Right. But the mother's tuition told you different.
Well, I'm a violinist, and I know that practice makes perfect. And I just thought that him sitting all day tied up to his armpits, either in a stander or a carriage, I just knew it wasn't going to get him anywhere without knowing anything. And I did start reading, and I would go once a week to the library and read as much as I could. And at some point, I was called into his intervention center and told by his therapist, your child does not know what his legs are. He has no consciousness of his legs.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't have a spinal injury where he doesn't have consciousness of his legs. He just had never used them and didn't know how to use them. But of course, because he hadn't used them. So I just started standing him every opportunity, walking him every opportunity, and it was very difficult for me. Think of a 2-year-old Either you're bending down, doubled over, or you're on your knees. Right. I didn't have any equipment like physical therapists have, these little benches, chairs on wheels, and ways to activate. I was hurting. And one day I took him to the park. There he was really motivated. He would go down the slide, and he was motivated to walk back around. I helped him up the steps, go down the slide, and I do this over and over. And I'm at a nice park, and all the mothers are sitting on the benches while their kids are running around freely. And I'm there, doubled over, feeling sorry for myself, imagining the eyes of all the mothers through my back saying, oh, this poor mother, what she's going through. And I went home that day and said, there's got to be a better way.
So tell us what you came up with. About 3 minutes left, Debbie.
I tied our ankles together.
Okay.
And put a little strap under his underarm and held him up. And I lived on a 4th floor walk-up at the time with him. We would go on the steps and walk around. I said, well, this is a good start, but this is not great.
Right.
I made some wooden shoes and put both our feet in it. I said, wow, this is hard to walk in wooden shoes. Let's get some sandals. I made double sandals with a shoemaker. And our harnesses attachment changed, went through many phases until we got to this arrangement where he's attached a harness from my hips to his hips with some shoulder straps as well to keep his upper body balanced.
Now, Debbie, let me ask you this. How much of his own weight is on his legs? Or
all of his legs.
Okay.
This is not a suspension. You took the words out of my mouth. I want to explain. My whole idea was not a suspension harness. There's nothing about it. It's to have full weight bearing, but to give support as if in a physical therapist's hands. That's why the main attachment is from the hips. And then the top attachment should not be pulled to suspend the child. It's just to support their upper extremity from going forward into the sides if they need it. I learned to use it. My son learned to use it without it. He developed his trunk control and could use the UPSI without it. He developed this.
Now, let me ask you this, Debbie, because we're almost out of time. How old is your son now? Is he walking on his own, and has this helped?
Good question. I'm going to give you a good answer.
Okay.
The UPSI is an approach more than a product. It's saying, let's get behind our children, give them the support they need, let them do the maximum that they can do in the activity, let them feel that they're the lead. And I'm doing that till today with my child. It doesn't mean he's walking, but he's in a powered wheelchair going around himself, and he has a smile on his face because he had a great childhood. Like children all over the world now are fishing, flying kites, bowling, playing soccer, hugging their siblings, and petting a dog. So this is, and getting more head control and leg control, and some kids will walk, but mostly you get behind them, let them do, and let them have a good childhood and quality of life.
Well, it's a fantastic product, and Debbie, really I know that you have a bunch of other products you were telling me that you helped design.
10 products. This is the tip of the iceberg. I hope we'll be talking about more in the future.
Absolutely. What's your website if people want to get one of these products?
I don't have a website.
Well, it can be purchased. The UPSI can be purchased at
UPSI is on by FireflyFriends.com. It's being manufactured and sold by a fine company, and the website is Firefly Friends. You can see on the Facebook. It's manufactured by Leckey, Leckey. You can learn everything about it there on their website.
Excellent.
Thank you, Debbie. Kudos to you for coming up with this amazing technology. Thank you for helping children across the world.
It.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Debbie El Natan. Once again, it's called the UPSI. You can purchase one at FireflyFriends.com.
Oh, I love that.
Good
so
story.
Heartfelt. You are listening to American Medicine Today. Coming up after the break, we're going to speak with Pat Recalde. She's founder and director of the Cleft and Craniofacial team at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital. So she's going to talk about all the great work that they do there. You'll hear more after the break.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our executive producer, Ethan Euchre.
Here as always and happy.
Yes.
Indeed.
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon from the Bonati Spine Institute, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
Hello.
And in studio, we have guest Dr. Pat Ricaldi, and she is the founder and director of the Cleft and Craniofacial team at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital. And she's here to discuss her work with the children who have facial differences and how she and the team there are working to change and make their lives happier. So,
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You have an amazing job. Some of these children, your heart breaks when you see them because of the deformities. Why don't you get into what you and your team do?
Well, and first of all, just explain for the layperson that doesn't even really know what a cleft lip and palate and plagiocephaly. I mean, what are these things? How do they form? Are they genetic birth defects? Just kind of explain to people what they are.
Sure, I'll be happy to. What a lot of people don't realize is cleft lip and cleft palate are actually a very common congenital anomaly. They're actually more common than Down syndrome, juvenile diabetes, things that really people understand quite a bit. And yet I hear a lot of what you're discussing. What is that? I've never heard of it. 1 in 700 babies born in the United States are going to have a cleft lip and palate. And that's a staggering number. Wow. And even all through the years, we've really not been able to change that number. It is a little higher in certain populations, Native Americans, for example, Asian Americans, and we don't really know why. There has been a lot of research in genetics, and clearly there's probably a lot more genetic implications that we're still learning about over the last several years. There's been a lot more genes that have been identified, but as frequently as we have insurance problems these days, insurances often don't cover genetic testing, and so we probably aren't able to identify a lot of genetic problems. Mm-hmm. But the vast majority of kids with cleft lip and palate, thank goodness, are normal kids in every other way. Mm-hmm. They just happen to, during the process of the formation of the face, the fusion doesn't complete. So in embryology, for example, when the baby is being formed, the face actually starts out with multiple processes, multiple parts.
Yeah, doesn't it come from, and correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it sort of from side to side and then it fuses in the center?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're called facial placodes. And as those placodes come around and fuse, the cleft disappears. So all of us, when we were in your mom's bellies, had a cleft. But then early on, within the first trimester, actually, that fusion creates obliteration of the cleft. Well, in these patients, that doesn't happen. So the lack of fusion is what creates the cleft lip and palate. And so they're born with separation, and typically that separation occurs through the mouth and through the nose, and it can be partial, it can be complete, it can be one-sided, two-sided. It can have various presentations.
And I've seen, the cleft lip where it looks like there's a triangle out of the skin there. I mean, it's clearly a cleft. Now the palate, that's the actual bone and things like that.
That's the roof,
of the mouth.
Yes,
Wow.
that's the roof of the mouth. So if you touch with your tongue the roof of your mouth, you feel a very firm stop. Well, these kids, they put their tongue, they go right up into their nose.
Ooh.
So it's very challenging for them to do certain things. For example, as an infant, feeding, which obviously becomes pretty important as soon as the baby is born. They can't suck, so they can't create negative pressure in their mouth to bring milk out, especially for breastfeeding purposes. But even from a bottle, it can be very challenging, and we have to provide them specialized bottles so that they can feed properly.
And how quickly do you need to, as a parent, have that fixed and looked at by someone such as yourself?
Well, the best time to meet me or the team is really before baby's born, so that we can educate the parents and prepare them, because at the time of delivery, obviously, we have to start with feeding issues right away. And if they happen to be delivering it at a hospital or at a birthing center that is not experienced with cleft palate babies, they could get into a world of hurt within 24 hours. So ideally, it would be diagnosed prenatally, and they would come for an evaluation so that we can talk about it and provide them the proper feeding instructions. If it's not diagnosed prenatally, which sometimes it's not, because it's hard to see on a sonogram, then as soon as the baby's born, it should be picked up, and then I typically would do an in-hospital consult and see the baby in the hospital, or as soon as the baby's discharged, we can do it.
This is one of the major problems on the kids, because once they are born, if they are not a team prepared to understand this, the first thing that happens in the first 24 hours, they have aspiration, and as soon as they have an aspiration, they have problems with the lungs. And then they develop pneumonia. In majority of these kids, they have a real big trouble. And in the past, that's how they die.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think people, when they see kids, the unknown is always dangerous, because you see a child with a facial difference, and parents don't know the severity of it. They can look very disfiguring, very dysmorphic, especially in certain cultures where facial differences, those patients are shunned. I mean, those are the ones that are left in the gutters. Those are the ones where kids are really abandoned. And it can be very frightening, certainly throughout the world. I mean, America as well, it happens, but I've done a lot of international mission trips where it really is sad what it is. And these kids, like I said, are normal kids. They just need very, very minor, actually, procedures and some assistance to just kind of help them along.
No, those procedures.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask, the procedures, when you do them, what is the time frame for, from start to finish to really restore normality?
Yeah, how does it even work? That's what I wonder, and how difficult is that? Some must be more difficult than others as well, right?
Yeah, it is. But again, I have extensive training. This is basically my passion in life. The kid with the cleft lip and palate is challenging. It's three-dimensional because it affects speech, it affects dental, it affects it's a surgical issue. It's an ENT issue. There's so many different disciplines that come into play. And that's why we have a craniofacial team. That's why we do the things the way we do. And if you look at it from a team holistic approach and you think about the child three-dimensionally, it actually is really easy if you break it down. We start out with feeding, and we go to specialized bottles, like I said, or we get our feeding people involved. We want them to gain about 10 pounds within the first 2 to 3 months of life. And if we can get that, then we do their first surgery. In their first surgery, we do the lip and nasal repair. And then their second surgery, we do usually around 10 to 12 months of life. That's when we repair the roof of their mouth. And then we wait until they're a little bit older in terms of their dental development, so we can do the third surgery, which is the gum region where the bone graft is placed. So typically it's 3 surgeries to correct the deformity. And then, of course, depending on how things go, we might need to do some revisions later.
I think that, I mean, it's really wonderful that you are speaking on the radio of this problem. But, you know, I really think we need to make an appointment with you to show the pictures and probably a procedure or something like that in television.
I would love
to.
So
I would like to ask the team here to put together a program to go whenever you are ready and you have a program to not only introduce the defect, but at the same time to make aware the population, because through radio you may reach some people, but they don't really understand very well what's going on, because this is so graphic.
It is.
This is so enormous that you go and you see a kid, as you say, with a cleft palate. It looks like a monster, and then you go and repair and looks like a beautiful child. So the situation is this is really graphic. It needs to be done in television. So you guys need to prepare something for Dr. Ricaldi to participate in a program like that. We'll really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I would love to.
Now, another question. Speaking of, since it's such a visual thing, I saw some pretty dramatic before and after photos on your website, which is Florida Cranio FL Cranio.com. And I even saw where you worked on some adults.
I do, yeah.
How does that? I mean, you would think that the bones would get so hard once you reach teen and adulthood that it would be unfixable.
No, there's always things that, well, I shouldn't say always. Usually there's things that can be done even in adults. And I do frequently get involved with congenital anomalies that extend into adulthood. And there are things that can be done at that stage as well. But obviously the best time is in the child. Once you've had surgery, especially bad surgery, you can't erase that. You can't undo scars. You can't, and I'm sure Dr. Bonati, doing revisions on your own patient is always easier than trying to fix somebody else's problems. And that is sort of a take-home message. It's much better to get involved from the very beginning.
I would imagine that some of the parents have got to be just eternally grateful to you, because if a baby doesn't know, what's going on, the baby can't thank you themselves. So the response from the parents must be pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah, we have a. I'm so fortunate. I really am. I love coming to work every day. I love getting to know these people, and it's not like I do one surgery and then they're goodbye. I get to know them their whole lives. It is wonderful, and we have a wonderful family support team. A bunch of moms that have gotten together, and they share stories and experiences, and it really is very heartwarming.
And one of the differences when you treat this child at the birth time is the psychological problem is gone, doesn't exist, because really the scar tissue is, if it is a perfect surgery, the scar is so minimal that people doesn't really realize that there's nothing wrong with this child. But if you repair somebody who's an adult or a teenager or something like that, the whole life are being traumatized. When they correct that one, that stigma is still on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of literature on the psychological stigmata of children. But the thing that you do have with the child, although you're right, your scars are easier to hide, but it really impacts growth. Yeah. So we have to be a lot more careful as far as when we do surgery and what you can touch and what you can't touch.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great stuff. And I'm assuming you probably get clients and patients from around the country, right?
Sure,
Just because you're based in Tampa doesn't mean, because we have people listening and watching all around the country. So
absolutely.
If people want to get in touch with you and the St. Joseph Children's Hospital in Tampa, how do they reach out?
Yeah, so Florida Craniofacial Institute is my private office, and the best way to do it is just to call 813-870-6000. Of course, you can always reach us through the website as well. We have an email contact.
And it's flcranio.com.
Correct.
All right. Thanks for joining us in studio here, Dr. Pat Ricaldi. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just a couple of more words. The fact that we can do this thing in television, we will do this one national through Bloomberg. So you have a national exposure, the whole package, because it's really important to reach these people early.
It is.
Yep, we'll get it set up for sure.
I would love it.
Excellent.
I really would. Thank you.
All right, thanks again, Dr. Ricaldi.
Thank you, Dr. Ricaldi.
Thank you.
Something near and dear to the heart with so many children, and don't ever want to see any children getting bullied. Totally different subject, but can be just because somebody has a facial deformity. So thank you again, Dr. Ricaldi. You are listening to American Medicine Today. Coming up after the break, you'll hear what's new in American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, thank you for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our executive producer, Ethan Euchre.
I am here.
And to my side, again, senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
And I continue to be present.
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. I do want to say we have some exciting stuff, though, going on.
Yeah.
We have some new stations that we're going to be airing on, and
we'd like
do
to
you
welcome
want to talk about it?
2 new cities to American Medicine Today.
To the family.
Yes.
For our listeners, new listeners joining us in Punta Gorda, Florida, via News Radio 1580 WCCF. We want to say hi to everybody in Punta Gorda.
Beautiful little town, too.
And in beautiful Naples, Florida, continuing just a little farther down the West Coast on Naples FM Talk 98.9.
Very nice.
We'd certainly like to welcome Southwest Florida to American Medicine Today.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh.
And we have Dr. Bonati, and we are showcasing.
Are we doing Brock's Croc or what's new? That's the question.
What's new?
What's new?
What's new? Let's find out.
All right.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Well, I think he wants to talk about Obamacare lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Well, I almost opened my practice in Naples.
Oh, yeah?
So now let's talk about Obama.
Let's get into it.
It's amazing that that we need to talk about Obama every single session, but the point is we cannot let this thing die. One of the problems with the news is that they don't persevere. They treat one program and they pass to the other one, and Obama catch all that and understand very well that the lack of perseverance on the media will hide the disaster that this country is ready to face with Obamacare. So it's my responsibility to bring this thing constantly, all the time, and make the people aware that Obamacare is not only a cancer for this country, it's a disaster for the physicians, for the patients, and for the economy of the country. And if we don't wake up and don't we force our politicians to act on this, then we are going to end in a situation of a tremendous amount of disastrous healthcare. I lived one time in my training in a country where was a socialistic type of medicine. The behavior of the whole system is sick. The physicians are poorly trained. The individuals are treated like cattle. The results of any type of a surgery are being abandoned. If you're lucky, you get better with the surgery. If you don't, that specialist doesn't have time for you to come back on the system, so you wait years or you die with it. So at the same time, these things that they talk about, that they are not, how you call, they are not killing type of programs on the Obamacare,
like the death panels,
like a death penalty. This is not true. Exists already in England, okay? And the situation is, do you reach a certain age and you're not productive for the group of managers of that country? So the politicians, they will not help you. The same thing happened with the people that they are in the early age of your life. So what happened? Children are also being abandoned. So the situation is, the people who will not bring dollars to, or will cost the dollars to the government, they're going to be kicked out.
Well, because they essentially want only productive members. I say that in quotes because, I mean, people are all people. We're all productive human beings. But unless you're contributing, as they would say, to society, then you're pretty much obsolete in the eyes of the healthcare insurance system.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you need to understand that this is so ridiculous. You have probably any organization will know after a certain amount of time exactly how accurate is the amount of population that is going to be participant on any program. If you are going to be a banker, if you are going to do healthcare, you're going to do sales or whatever, you need to know how many people participate in that, and you have statistics to check that. But, you know, the politicians' statistics are fraud, are constantly fraud, and they are directed to mislead the people. So what's happening here? They talk about that at this stage already, Obamacare does not know exactly how many people are participants on Obamacare programs. So they talk initially 7.8 millions. Then they start to add in those 7-8 millions. They say, well, you know, needs to be two different programs, one for dental and one for healthcare. But because the numbers were so low, they put both programs together, and now they say, yes, we do have, and they never reached the 7 million.
No, and part of this that gets me, the initial reported 7.3 million enrollees, they were forced to admit that it wasn't just the normal health plans, but to up the quota so that they hit their mark, it included just dental plans. How pathetic is that?
That's pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and really the number of these people that they are being right now probably is below 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And these 5 million is people that they are usually. Didn't we say that we are going to give health care to people that they are 11 or 20 million people that they need health care, that they didn't have health care? Well, where's these people? These people are 5 million now?
Okay, well, hold on. About 86% of those that signed up for coverage on those federal Obamacare exchanges that were eligible to receive government subsidies to help lower those monthly premiums, they're all being challenged by lawsuits in federal courts.
Ridiculous.
So it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's something that we can touch on next time.
Yeah, we are about out of time.
But thank you for listening.
Oh, one second before you do that one. This is for the size of the patients. Around 280,000 physicians, they already said that they're not going to participate in this program.
Yes.
We're talking about 280,000 physicians.
Right.
Now, that is already a disaster for all the specialties.
Yes. And with that said, we can touch more on this on the next
We
program, and we always will.
Thanks, Doc.
You know, if you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. Keep a look for us out on Bloomberg Saturdays and Sundays, as well as here locally, WFTS ABC 28, and with our news stations in Punta Gorda and in Naples. We'll see you next week.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.